Hello everyone, I'm Nivedita from Explorica. For decades now, India has been closely involved in motorsport event and series. The first Indian GP took place over a decade ago. The industry sure has been rolling the ball since then. An excellent closed wheel motorsport event that brings out enormous great talent from India is the Volkswagen Motorsport India Cup series that involves various popular commercial vehicles like Amio and Polo. Today we have with us one of the most successful and charming personality the series has to offer. He's an excellent driver and also a very familiar face in the motorsport community of India. Please welcome Mr. Saurav Bandyopadhyay.
Hi everyone. Hi.
Hi Saurav, how have you been so
Hi.
far?
Good, pretty good. Lockdown's
So, how's
been
the lockdown for
pretty
you?
interesting.
Yeah,
It's been pretty interesting. Actually, we had like a lot of projects lined up in March. In fact, in March, I was worried how are we going to execute all of the projects that were lined up. But that's a good problem to have. And then
sure.
this happened. So obviously, initially we were like, I was a little bummed out because I was really excited and looking forward to the project we were working on and this year's racing championship. But then we were already into esports. We got a little time and a free mind to focus on esports. So we spent the lockdown focusing on esports, and that has really taken off and grown. So we have had a lot to do during the lockdown. It's been fun.
That is so good to know. And it is no secret that in a very short while you have conquered a lot in the field of motorsports, esports, and whatnot. So, how did this entire journey begin? Which is that moment you will look back and say that at that particular moment I just knew I was meant for this. I was meant to do this.
Well, there is no moment like that. In fact, there is so much doubt that comes that am I meant for this or should I be
Sure.
doing it? So it's a constant process of backing yourself and pushing yourself. I mean, I started with karting. I think now a good 13 years back, but it was just like obviously I wanted to do something about the sport, but initially it was just going to a nearby karting track and having some fun with a bunch of guys and self learning. So we were just driving, learning, and then at a national level event, I met my coach Reoman Banaji, and since then I took coaching from him, and then last 2 years I've been working on some projects with him. So yeah, he's been my coach now for more than 10 years.
That's so good to hear. And as you mentioned coaching, my first question that I would like to put forward for you is
Yeah.
that how was the experience of being a coach to someone and see that person win? Because being a race driver is an entirely different thing, but when you coach someone, you impart your skills into that person, and that person is going to reflect what you have given in some way or the other. So, how was the feeling when that person won a podium?
Oh, that's exciting. Like for me now, it's like yes, I want to win. Okay, and to be honest, coaching is a small part of what we do. But when I'm doing coaching, I'm very particular that I want my students to win. Like I want the whole bunch to be a bunch of winners. Me, my students, everybody. So I'm always pushing them.
Sure.
I'm always working with them. And touch wood, they've got some fantastic results, and I'm really really proud. In fact, last year there was a time where in one of the magazines I'm reading, so one page had an article about me and the next page had an article about two of my students. So
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
yeah, that is exciting. At the same time, it does put a lot of pressure because students look up to me, right? So whenever I'm at my race, they expect me to win. So I'm always getting
Sure.
texts from them like, Saurabh sir, how's it going? Are you winning? Are you fastest? So adds a little bit of additional pressure, but I enjoy it.
That is so good to hear. So, I was reading a bit about you and I found out that apart from your zeal to earn or claim the Amio Cup, you also
Hmm.
own a Polo GT for yourself and you are
Oh
an
yeah.
Volkswagen admirer. So, how has this relationship with Volkswagen been so far and how did this relationship actually start?
So I was doing my graduation, and I think 2011 I graduated, and I was like, I want to race, right? But obviously, nothing big. I couldn't see anything big around that time. So
Sure.
obviously, I went ahead. I did some entrance tests and all for post graduation. I did a decent job. Okay, and then Volkswagen Motorsport came to India. They launched the Polo Cup, and first season, obviously, all the top guys in the country were gunning for it, and I was still karting. I was not even racing in cars. So I just went for it. My coach was like, "Look, most likely you won't get through, but give it your all, you know." And I got through. And I told my parents, you know what, look, give me a little break. Let me give this a shot. It's going well. And we'll see what happens, you know. And yeah, I mean, since then, I've done quite a few championships with Volkswagen. And yeah, right away, I fell in love with Volkswagen cars. And, uh, I
Yeah.
love the Polo GT, on a day to day basis. Like, honestly, I don't enjoy other cars now, it has to be a Volkswagen.
It's an emotion. It's
Yeah,
like
it's an emotion,
not a
and
car anymore for you.
yeah, and cars are well built. I really enjoy driving them. Yeah.
So, for someone who has been associated with Volkswagen for so long, you sure would have tried different cars of there and also different versions, race and road. So, how do they differ from each other in terms of performance, and which would be the lucky one to be claimed by you as your favorite?
I think I like the Polo GTI that they launched. I mean, fortunately, I got to test drive it. Being a race driver, we actually got a call from the dealership, and the car was brought here, and we drove it. I mean, I enjoyed it. But the race cars, nothing beats the race cars. Those are properly race
Sure.
built cars, and uh, yeah, I enjoy driving them any day. Like, in fact, after the races, we have these guest drives, like media drives. You take media people out, or you take the guests or
Yes.
sponsors out on a drive around the track. Okay, and no matter how tired I am after a race weekend, if they tell me to hop into the car and take people around the track, I'm ready, even after a long day. So I love
Sure.
driving those cars any day.
I get that. So, as you're talking about racing, race and quali both requires two entirely different preparations and perspective from driver's point of view. So, what is your secret strategy that helps you in achieving or excelling in both of them?
So I'm evolving every year, I'm evolving my approach and changing my approach every year. Earlier, the approach was, I want to be the fastest in every session, whether it's practice, quali,
Sure.
race. Now it's a little more a thoughtful approach, looking after my tires and things like that. So practice, I'm maybe at 95%, qualifying, I'm at 110%, for those few laps. And race, I am at, I think, 95 or 97%, not fully on the limit, because you have to make the tires last, and
Yes.
you have to take lesser risks because it's a longer duration. Whereas in qualifying, you
Yes.
take those little risks to get that crazy lap. So, but
Sure.
that's the lap I enjoy the most. The whole weekend I look forward to that qualifying, where I go absolutely nuts and try to get that lap time. Yeah.
That's so cool. So, you once mentioned that you would love to drive an Indy car, but you wouldn't prefer driving it on an oval. So, which brings me to my next question, that what is the technical difference you find between different kind of tracks you have raced on, and how should a newcomer go about it?
Uh, I think you need to do a lot of sim racing. Okay, so I think when I started, the challenge obviously was budget. Okay, so I couldn't practice so much, and I got introduced. I mean, I was looking for options, and I saw drivers abroad were doing a lot of sim racing. So I'm like, okay, great, let's try this. And I started racing online, driving different cars, driving at different tracks. So uh, you learn to tackle different corners, okay, and then whatever track you go to or whatever you face, you're prepared, okay. Whereas if you're sticking to one track and you're practicing there again and again, then your growth is not happening that well. In fact, we have a
Sure.
track in Mumbai where my students train, and we keep changing the layout every 6 months, or we run a certain amount of number of drills in a way that the corner is different to them, and they have to adapt and they have to think, because that is very very crucial. So you shouldn't be accustomed to one particular track or one particular type
Sure.
of corner. You need to be versatile in your mind.
That is sure important. So, as you told, that track understanding is very, very important. So, what is your take on man-machine relationship? For a driver, is it only or is it sufficient to know how to speed up the car or control the car or take it over during turns? Or like getting to know the engineering behind the tune-ups that they do before a race, also important. How important it is to know the engineering or the dynamics that go behind your car?
So when you start, it's only about your own skill. Okay, the championships are made that way. But as you go ahead,
Sure.
even in eating, okay, and then in car racing, as you go ahead, setup comes into play, and the engineering side comes into play, because
Definitely.
usually the base level championships you're not allowed to change much because they want to focus only on the drive. Then once engineering comes in, it's very, very crucial to know what you're doing. Okay, it's very crucial to work with your team. Okay, and get the car set up the right way. I mean, everybody has their own style, so you need to get it set up in a way that it suits you, but at the same time, it needs to be fast.
Yes.
So that was a long process, and that's where you go to learn. So in fact, when I was racing two strokes, okay, or even four strokes, like I used to work on my car, okay, and I could do quite a few things on my engine, even though I'm a art student by background. So I learned a lot of engineering, just hands-on working with my team, and sometimes it was a necessity. Didn't have the budget, so I had to do the
Yeah,
work on
sure.
my car. Okay, but it was exciting, and even now, when necessary, I can get my hands dirty and I can work on a cart and an engine.
That is sure some good insight about it, about how should a person start and like start reading about the engineering that goes behind a race car.
So more
So,
than reading, you need to
yes, sir?
do it. You need to do it with
Yeah,
your hand. You need to, because
definitely.
we get a lot of engineering interns who come and work with us, and they might be really smart with, you know, what they have read.
Theory.
But
Yes.
theory, the problem is, I think, I mean, colleges do a great job of what they're doing, but the practical knowledge is lacking. Okay. And, that's what they learn with us. Okay. Like the interns, I see them grow and learn. So I think that part is crucial, getting their hands dirty and actually working on the machine.
Very important.
Yes.
So, as you told, you were go karting in the earlier stages of your life.
Yeah.
So, go karting and track racing are two entirely different events and requires two different kind of like strategies or build or strength or reflexes. So, but yes, go kart is always mentioned as a stepping stone for anyone who wants to come into motorsports. So, you
Correct.
being an expert in both the fields, what is your opinion about it, and what is your advice to the youngsters who want to enter into the field of motorsports?
They need to start with karting. There's no way around it. Okay.
Sure.
So, like, I would say, if you do your proper research as a race driver who's starting out, you will see like the top guys. I have all done karting. Okay, I've spent a
Yes.
good 6 years doing karting. 5 years doing karting before I jumped into cars, and because of which my basics are really strong. And right now I have students who are doing karting with the sole aim of jumping into cars maybe next year or next to next year. And even when they make that transition, they are so quick to adapt. Okay, because especially at the two-stroke level, you need really high skill, really good reflexes, and good understanding of the kart and the engineering side of things. So it really develops you as a complete driver. Okay, and then when you jump into cars, you're much more prepared and much more comfortable
Prepared.
than straight away jumping into cars.
That is some good insight that people can take from here.
Yeah.
So, like talking to you as a racing person and as a tech person, and is an entirely different story. And how come this race driver turned into a business person, a CEO? How did this idea of IRE racing struck you, and how has it come so far?
So, I mean, two things. One is I always wanted to do something of my own. That is one.
Yes,
Second thing is, obviously, when racing was going well, okay, I think around 2012 or something, I ran out of budget. Okay. So then budget became an issue. So I had to find ways to fund myself, and I had to take a forced break from racing. So, I did try out my hand at few projects, and I was looking for options. Okay. Tried a bunch of things, learned a lot. Uh, barely anything worked, okay, but I learned a lot. I grew a lot,
Sure.
And then I was talking to my coach, we were in touch. I used to show up at some events just to hang out. And, he was working on some new projects. So he's like, why don't you come along and assist in few things, or get involved. And then I
Sure.
started getting more and more involved. And then I started uh, assisting. I mean, I started taking charge of a lot of things, and yeah, and my coach kept guiding me and helping me even when it came to the non-racing world. Okay, so I fortunate that way that I had somebody hand holding me and showing me the
Sure.
way, and it was a necessity because I wanted to get back into racing quickly. So I learned, I grew, and then as I developed a little more confidence in myself, I started taking charge and suggesting ideas like, what, let's do this and let's do that. And the Raymond is a very, open-minded and smart individual. So, he's always looking to do new things and explore and innovate, right? So we were like, okay, let's do this. We're anyways doing a lot of cool stuff in real world motorsport, whether it's karting or whether it's with companies like Jaguar. We were doing some stuff, and then we were like, let's do esports, So he's like, okay, you go with it, you lead. And so we started last year, and we did this simulator competitions in Mumbai in the top colleges, IIT, VJTI, Jai Hind, HR, and it took off. It
Sure.
actually went way better than any of us expected. We had like thousands and thousands of people fighting to get a chance to drive the simulators.
That is
And
so cool.
yeah, and we got some attention from the right places. So we had some stuff planned with physical simulators this year, but that changed, So we were like, okay, let's go online. And yeah, fortunately, we have a good team, So all of us worked flat out through the lockdown. In fact, most of our friends were like, "How are you busy during the lockdown?" Like you don't make a call, you don't.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. Everybody was like, "What's up with you guys?" Not just me, my whole team. But we were
Yeah,
working day and
exactly.
night, and it's been so exciting what we created in, I think, April, May, and then partners started coming along. So Mumbai Falcons, who have a team in X1 Racing League, and they're doing a lot of motorsport related projects. Okay, then Volkswagen Motorsport India, then Red Bull India, then Gamer Connect, which is a property by NVIDIA India. So everybody started partnering with us. And yeah, then we got this new project with Volkswagen Motorsport, which is the Volkswagen Virtual Racing Championship, where we are actually picking a driver from the online world, and he's going to be racing in the Volkswagen Championship next year alongside me, which is crazy,
That is, yes.
Yeah, which is
That crazy
crazy.
is the
So
exact word I was looking for.
yeah. So the guy is sitting at home right now practicing on a wheel. Okay, and he's gonna get a crazy opportunity to become a real world race driver. And I mean, what a concept by Volkswagen India. And yeah, they are. I mean, hats off to them that they are so open minded and innovative
Yes.
to think something like this, and and go ahead and do it. I think nobody in the Asian region has done something like this, where they have picked up somebody from simulators and put them in a
Yes.
race car. So
That is
yeah,
something grand that is going to happen.
yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
So, talking about unexpected things, I
Hmm.
couldn't resist myself from asking you how was the experience of doing an ad with Milind Soman because I am completely fangirling over him.
Oh yeah, I'm a big Milind Soman fan. In fact, during the shoot, I was joking with him. When I was a kid, I used to watch this series called as Captain Yom. It was about sci-fi. And
Yes.
he's yeah. So I was joking with him because since then I was a fan. So it was good fun. He's really nice. So we had a lot of fun driving around, and yeah, it was a good day. It was a fun day.
That is cool. So you do you as a driver has some kind of lucky charm with you, or do you do some kind of ritual that is secret to you that you do before the races or anything like that?
Um, no ritual as such. I just like to sit beside my car or in my car and just like take it easy. No ritual as such. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, what does your fitness regime involves? Like, how do you keep your reflexes very fast?
So there are a bunch of things I do, which I've not been so consistent with. Okay, at least, but in the lockdown, I have become fitter than I've ever have been because I've got a little more time. So I focus on more like strength building and endurance than like having big muscles or something. So it's mainly push-ups, pull-ups, more CrossFit type of stuff, and then some exercises for reflexes and things like that. And yes, I have a simulator at home, so I do put in significant amount of time on that.
And how do you keep your weight on par? Because keeping your weight on level for a race driver is very important. So, is there any dietary tips you want to give to our viewers?
Just eat right and move, because uh,
Yeah, sure.
I think no matter what kind of fads, diet fads and all come out, the core concept is similar. Don't eat too much and move and do something. And I think as long as you do that, weight shouldn't be a problem. Touchwood never has been a problem for me because I'm very active, even if I'm not working out. Life is hectic. So yeah, as long as you don't eat junk, you're good.
That does make a lot
And
of
I'm not
sense.
saying I'm a good
Yeah,
boy
I
when it
get
comes
it.
to that. I like I'm a Bengali. I like sweets, but yeah, I compensate with workout.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
yes, do you ever give up on food that you really love for the sake of racing?
Do I ever really?
Give
So,
up on some kind of sweet dish that you love for racing when your race weeks are coming up or something? As you
oh, a
told,
lot.
you're a big fan of eating.
Yeah, I have to like give up a lot, especially on race weekends. We're staying uh, outside, and there's always some good food in front of you. And when we're doing some sort of project, especially for Jaguar, the stuff we were doing, we're always traveling, right? And when you're traveling, there are so many options in front of you all the time, and yeah, you have to stay controlled. Yes, so yeah, I try to do what I can. But
Nice.
there's always a
So, would you
limit.
like to
Beyond that, I'm like,
yeah,
there's always a
yeah, I
limit
get
to
it.
the point I can't control.
Sure. So, would you like to explain a little bit about your project with Jaguar?
So with Jaguar, what we do is it's the art of performance tour. Basically, those are events focused on current Jaguar customers or potential Jaguar customers. It's about showcasing the cars, right? So we drive and showcase the capabilities of the car, and then we instruct the people who are invited over there how to drive the car, and we instruct them to do a certain bunch of activities where they're driving the car fast and having fun, to show the
Sure.
capabilities of the car. So, in a nutshell, that's the event. Okay. And yeah, we get to drive all the cool cars that Jaguar has in India, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah. A big fan of Jag, you know.
Nice. So, who has been your racing idol so far? Like, who motivated you to like just go into motorsports?
I think it was first Michael Schumacher, then Fernando Alonso, and now Lewis Hamilton. I mean, as you evolve as a person, I think the people you look up to also keeps evolving. So yeah, I think yeah, but there's a lot to learn each from Lewis Hamilton, from Fernando Alonso, and from Michael Schumacher as well. So I try to take the best bits and incorporate whatever I can.
That is good. So, which one racetrack would be your favorite racetrack that you have raced on?
Racetrack Chennai. Chennai is my favorite because you really uh, need some guts to be fast over there, you know,
Sure.
and some corners are really scary. And yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, I mean, you feel uh, powerful, driving fast at Chennai.
That is good. So, for the final piece of advice, what would you like to tell the youngsters who are looking up to you or to motorsport, to who want to come into the field of motorsport? What is your
Yeah.
piece of advice for them?
Uh, First thing is, I mean, two things. One is for race drivers and one is for engineers. Okay, so I'll start with race drivers. For race drivers, they need to understand the reality of the sport. Okay, first is they have to start with karting, not jump into cars directly, and they need to
Sure.
do their homework and they need to understand the sport. Uh, and they need to know the reality of the sport, that it's a little expensive sport. So the planning has to be really, really smart when you do this sport. You know, you need to do your research and you need to follow the right people and you need to take advice from the right places. You know, I think that applies to anywhere in life, but as I said, proper planning and following the right people and sim racing. I think it's crazy the kind of opportunities that are coming up with sim racing. So for somebody who thinks that, oh, maybe I can't do this sport or maybe it's too expensive, get a wheel, get a PC, do sim racing, be good at it,
Sure.
and it's crazy the kind of opportunities that are coming their way. And then for engineers, I would say that go out there and do practical things, get your hands dirty. You know what
Yes.
is really exciting is many a times I test or I assist or I work with a lot of these Formula student teams or uh, Formula Bharat teams, and I'm friends with a lot of these teams. I love the work they do. Okay, I've been to many of their workshops. Okay, I love sitting there and watching them work. They are so dedicated and so hardworking. Okay, and what they build is brilliant, right? So anybody who wants to be an engineer, a good engineer, not just in motorsport in general, they need to be part of teams like that where they're innovating, working, and then they realize and learn and grow in the right direction. Okay, so if you want to get into motorsport and that is your background, you're definitely well prepared for the field of motorsport. And after all, I think as an engineer, you need to get your hands dirty and do the
Sure.
stuff and just do the theory. So yeah,
That is some really good piece of advice from your side. Thank you so much for your precious time that you shared with us.
no problem. Most welcome. I
Thank
enjoyed
you
it.
so much.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
enjoyed it too.